Book of Numbers is named after the census at the beginning and at the end of the book as the people of Israel prepare to enter the promised land. But the original name in Hebrew, Bimidbar, means in the wilderness, which is perhaps a more fitting title since it covers the 40-year span of the Israelites' wilderness wanderings. This is the fourth book of the Bible, the fourth book of the Torah, and the author is Moses. Now, before you think he wrote every book of the Bible, a new leader, Joshua, is beginning to rise up, and he will soon become the author of his own book, which we'll be reading soon. The Book of Numbers was written between 1450 and 1410 BC, when the Israelites were wandering in the wilderness somewhere in the Sinai Peninsula. We see Christ as the star in Balaam's prophecy in chapter 24. The main themes are rebellion, punishment, and God's provision. Even when the people are rebellious, and even though they are punished, God still keeps his promises to his people. They will enter the promised land. The book begins in Mount Sinai and extends over a period of 40 years, eventually ending in the plains of Moab as they prepare to enter the promised land, beginning with a census and ending with a census. They were once slaves under Egyptian rule, and now as Israelites, they have a tribe, they have a people, they have a sense of belonging. They begin their journey with faith and reverence, purifying the camp to honor God. But they soon long for the safety of slavery and begin to complain about everything: water, food, even Moses' leadership. And because of their rebellion, they are punished by God and forced to wander the wilderness for an entire generation, waiting for the new generation to enter the promised land. And that is where Numbers ends. But despite their unbelief and unfaithfulness, God still remains faithful. He does not allow Balaam to curse the people, and he even uses a talking donkey. This is perhaps a humbling reminder that even when people do not do the will of God, God will find a way, even if he has to use an animal to do it. Numbers is also a great reminder of our corporate sin and responsibility. It really challenges the notion of our individualist society, where we think we're only personally responsible for our personal sin. But the story of Korah, and really the story of the Israelites as a nation as a whole, show us that God can curse and bless nations and people groups and generations. There is a sense of corporate responsibility for our actions. Lastly, he rises up a new leader for a new generation, and we'll begin to see the story of Joshua unfold as they prepare to enter the promised land of Israel. The purpose of this book is really to show us that there are consequences for our disobedience. God is faithful and God will forgive, but there are consequences when we disobey. Remember that God's ways are the best ways to live, and as children of God, we should want to walk in his path for our lives, walk in obedience, and walk in blessing.